everyone. I want to welcome Brittany. She's one of my clients at Sales X Training, and she agreed to join me today. She has some questions about her real estate business, and I'm going to answer those questions for her. And I trust that her questions might be some of your questions watching, and the answers will help you sell more homes, take more listings, and sell more homes. Right, Brittany?
Yes.
That's where it's at.
Twofold.
All right, girl. Thank you for joining me. So tell me,
Thank you.
what do you got?
All right. So, one of the things I want to share is my numbers from last year.
Okay.
And looking at my numbers, I have some big areas of improvement. Now, I want to focus on one in particular.
Okay.
I do have a confession that so after I started your program, I was so afraid to do a listing presentation, so afraid that I did not make phone calls.
Oh,
And so I think I started your program in like May. I didn't really take massive action on phone calls until like July.
wow.
So
It took
yeah.
2 months to get yourself to actually do it.
Yes. And it was because I was too scared. Like, I don't want to set an appointment and get the appointment, and I don't know what to do on the presentation. So,
Yeah.
so what I'm about to share is from like
Hold on. I gotta say something about. I want to ask you something about this, and then we'll keep going, okay? Because what you just said, I know a lot of real estate agents can relate to that. You know, we've talked about it many times on the live calls at Sales X Training. So you're definitely not the only one. So here, you took 2 months. You're afraid of, setting an appointment and having to go out not knowing what to do. What did you do in
yes.
those 2 months? Were you working on learning the presentation? What were you doing?
Yeah, I was transcribing the scripts. I was transcribing the listing presentation. I was role playing it. I was listening to it over and over again. And what's funny, I made my very first call June 26th to be exact. Didn't set an appointment. Took a whole month off. Picked back up July 27th. And on that day, I set like 3 listing appointments.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So all I did was practice for a month.
Okay. So I don't want to encourage this behavior. You do know that I don't encourage that, right?
Right.
I say start taking massive action, making phone calls immediately. Yeah, but I don't know the presentation. It doesn't matter. You'll figure it out as you go. Because spending 3 months, those are 3 months that you could have taken some listings. But I got to ask you this. You mentioned you were transcribing. Sales X Training, you could just download the script. So what exactly were you transcribing? I know what it is, but I want the people watching to know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I was basically listening to the role plays on the platform. Hundreds of them. And I was transcribing them. And gosh, I'm still in the process of transcribing them because it's so many. So I would listen to them, break them up so I only hear what you're saying. So I kind of screen record it, cut out what the other person is saying, and I transcribe what you're saying, and then I rehearse that script by reading it as fast as I can.
Wow, I found one client that actually do what I tell him to do. This is so great. I didn't know you were going to say this. Like, wow, she's actually doing it. And why did you take a month off between June 26th and July 27th? What was...
Well, that was a time where I was like, I'm too scared to actually set an appointment.
Oh, you were...
And because I made calls at the end of June, and I was like, oh no, I can't get an appointment because I'm not going to know what to do. So I took that whole month off to just practice and study, which, like you said, I would not recommend it either, because that whole month just kind of set me back where I could have been taking massive action and been a lot further.
Okay. I'm practicing every day, transcribing, role playing, all the things you said you took these months to do. Every agent should do it, but they should make calls every day and then do that every day simultaneously. Not like, let me just do this, and then when I feel like I'm ready. Because the truth is, I don't like asking questions that I don't know the answer to, and what I'm about to ask you, I don't know the answer to.
Okay.
However, yes, doing that kind of preparation, I'm sure it helped you. It made you, it built your confidence because when you know what to say and how to say it, builds your confidence somewhat. But were you fully prepared when you went out on your first presentation?
No.
Okay, good. That's what I wanted to hear. What if you said yes? I'm like, okay. So you went on your first presentation, and I would imagine that you learned some stuff that didn't go perfect, and nothing is ever gonna go perfect. So you're gonna continuously improve and make it better and learn, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, well, we want to clarify this, and thank you for saying that you don't encourage that or you wouldn't recommend that. Because, okay, anyway, we got distracted, but I think that was important. So go on, tell me.
Yeah, and so basically, looking at my numbers from the point in which I started taking massive action, which was essentially July 1 through December.
Okay.
So looking at my numbers in that 5 month period, my conversion metric for listings gone on to taken is scary. And that's what I need help with today. So within that period, I set 24 listing appointments. 13 of them canceled, didn't show up. So I went on the other 11. Of those 11, I only actually listed 30%.
Okay, so you listed what, three or four?
Yeah.
Three? Okay, 30%. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know that, according to the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, I should be aiming for 80% or higher.
As
So,
as
mhm,
so, when did you get a real estate license, Brittany?
in 2018,
Okay. And you started, what were you doing between 2018 and when you joined Sales X Training, May of 2021?
in terms of lead generation wise,
In terms of like business, how many homes did you sell? What were you doing? Were you working with buyers? Did you have listings? You're not making calls. What were you doing?
uh, well, my first year, it was pretty much listings. It's pretty much, I'm sorry, buyers. It's pretty much been all buyers with the exception of like one or two listings before I joined Sales X Training.
Okay. So,
And that business was primarily like sphere of influence, family, and friends.
okay. So 2018, 19, and 2020, and the first 4 months of 2021, you were working with buyers who were sphere of influence, people you knew, or referrals. And in all that time, you only had two listings.
Yes, about, yeah.
Okay. And well, uh, all things considered, are you still working with buyers?
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay. I wanted you to say, no, I'm putting all my folks on listings, but it's okay. You got to tell the truth. I got it. I got it. Okay. So a few things, and I know obviously I'm going to answer your question and maybe we could dig. I think you've asked the question about appointments being canceled. You've asked this question before on live calls because I remember. And let's talk about this. Okay. So first, let's break it into parts here. You set 24 listing appointments, 13 canceled. Am I correct?
Yes.
The sellers canceled. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. There are a few things here, and this is gonna sound really familiar. You have to set all of your listing appointments for as soon as possible. Now, when you first started making calls in July, end of July, I don't know what you were doing. So when I say set appointments for as soon as possible is you are making calls in the morning. You have a seller on the phone that agrees to meet with you. Ideally, you're going to go on that appointment same day. That is going to lower the chances of the appointment getting canceled. Now, this is a while back. I don't know if you remember. How many of the 13 that got canceled were same day appointments?
All of them. I do aim to set them same day. I don't even recall any that I didn't set same day.
Okay. So all 13 were same day appointments.
I would probably say yes. I didn't track that data, but I would probably say yes. That is my
Okay.
aim to set them same day.
Okay. How did they get canceled? They called you, they texted you, and what did they say? What was the reason for canceling those? The seller. What was their reason?
Well, most of them are what I'm calling like a no show, meaning I called them, got ready to go to the appointment, no answer, or showed up to the house, no answer. And then the others were like, oh, hey, some plans changed. One specifically, oh, my kid's school got canceled early. I need to go pick them up. Let's reschedule.
Okay, so hold on. Let's separate things here because I want to give you like detailed thoughts on this so you can improve this situation because I'm sure you're eager to improve the situation. So them canceling and them not showing up or not being available, you show up to the door and nobody's home. They're two different things. Okay. So how many actually called? You said one lady said my son's school, whatever, I need to reschedule. That was one of the other.
Yeah, it was maybe one or two who actually called and said, hey, I need to cancel or reschedule.
Okay. And were you able to reschedule those?
No,
No. So those got lost.
yes.
Okay. How many were called to reschedule of the 13, you would say? 3, 2?
Well, about one or two are in that category of, hey, I can't do it. I need to reschedule for whatever reason.
Okay. 1 or 2. Let's call it 2.
Okay.
Why weren't you able to reschedule?
The one I'm thinking about in particular, when I called to follow up, I didn't get an answer. And then I actually stopped calling her to follow up because I realized that the price point was a little bit lower than what I wanted to take anyway. So I didn't continue following up with her.
Okay. And why were you following up to reschedule? I mean, you had her on. She called you and left you a message. She left a message, right? And said, "I can't make it. We'll talk and reschedule." And then you started calling her to reschedule. She didn't answer the phone, and then you decided, "I don't want this anyway. The price is too low, so I'm going to stop calling." Is that correct?
Almost. The only difference is how I found out she was going to cancel was I was on my way to the appointment. I called her and said, "Hey, I'll be there in about 30 minutes." She goes, "Oh, I actually need to reschedule." That's how it was initiated.
Okay, got it. And then the others were no shows.
No show, or I call, no answer.
Okay.
And follow up, no answer.
So here's what you need to do since first of all you're doing the right thing by scheduling same day appointments. That's
Okay.
huge. That's huge, and you're doing a great job with that. One of the things that for me when I was selling real estate helped because I mean I used to have this stuff too. Show up to an appointment, nobody's there, and they never called. And one thing that I did that helped tremendously, I'm sure I still had occasionally one no show here and there, but it diminished tremendously that I don't even remember. I mean, to me, it was as good as it stopped and it didn't happen anymore. There are a couple of things I'm going to say. Number one, when you set the appointment at the end, you use the following dialogue. You say this to the seller: "Brittany, thank you so much for the opportunity to meet with you today. I'm excited about our meeting. And I want to leave you with my phone number. Do you have a pen and paper handy? I know you probably have it on your phone, but I still would like you, if you can, to write it down. Do you have a pen and paper handy?" And they would say, "Yes." I'd say, "Great. My number is blah, 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 blah. Again, Brittany, my name is Jackie. I look forward to seeing you today at 5 o'clock. Now, if you need to speak with me before our appointment, if you have any questions, please text or call me. If I don't hear from you, I look forward to seeing you today at 5 o'clock." That. Because now it's almost like I'm passing the responsibility for, like, if something comes up, if you You'd never use the language if you need to change or cancel. I didn't say that, right? Sometimes,
Right.
sometimes not you, agents hear something and then they change it the way that they think it should be. You don't want to say that. So
Okay.
if you have any questions or if you need to get a hold of me for any reason before our meeting, please call or text me. If I don't hear from you, I look forward to seeing you at 5 o'clock. So it's like, it's on you now. You
Okay.
need to do that at the end of every appointment you set. And this is after the pre-qualifying. This is like the last thing you say to them. Okay. I don't know
Okay.
if you're doing that or not. You've been in the SalesX platform and I know you're really involved and you listen to all this stuff, but you got to do that. Can't forget. That's critical.
Okay. That is something I had not been doing. So I need to incorporate that.
Immediately, because you understand
Yeah.
what that does, right?
Well, like you said, it puts the ball in their court. I no longer need to call them and say, "Hey, I'm 30 minutes away. I'll see you shortly," because we've already done that.
Exactly. Yes. And you're not going to do that anymore. But you know how all the stuff I say and when I role play, whatever, I put emphasis on certain things. If I don't hear from you, Brittany, so you're like making it very clear. Okay.
Okay.
Something comes up, they need to get a hold of you. That's one thing. And I think that's the most important thing, honestly, here. Most important is appointment same day. You're already doing that. Second most important thing is what I just told you. And this one is, I hate to put things in order of like importance because like this one's important too. You know that on every single call, you have to be on, on high level of energy, enthusiasm. You're a leader. You speak with downswings. Your language is powerful. Your communication is powerful, so that by the time you hang up on setting an appointment for qualifying and you use this dialogue, the seller is literally sitting on the edge of their seat. They're like, "Whoa, I can't wait for Brittany to get here."
Okay.
It has to be like that. It cannot be any other way. Because if at the first, I believe a certain level of this is like required for them to agree to meet with you. Because if you're like putting them to sleep and they're bored, they're probably not going to agree to meet with you. They'll feel like it's a waste of their time. However, when you set an appointment, you pre-qualify. Remember, people make decisions when they're excited about the future. They're excited. They're listening to you and saying, "Wow, this agent is not like any of the other agents that I talked to. I mean, this lady, I can't wait for her to get here." So that causes them to be looking forward to the appointment so much, like they wouldn't cancel. And because you're going on these appointments same day, you create like momentum. When you hang up on this call, you got momentum going on here. The seller's excited. They can't wait to meet you. They're excited because you're excited. You're full of energy and enthusiasm. You're confident, which makes them feel the same way. They're getting it from you. So you see how now your appointment is same day. You got this momentum going. You get there, it goes great. Unless, of course, they're a yes, unless you turn them into a no. So now you got all this going in your favor. You got to show up to that appointment the exact same way as a leader, confident, powerful, full of energy, enthusiasm, so you can have that high closing ratio on listing appointments. Talk to me about this. Like, give me your feedback. Give me your thoughts.
Well, that the piece you mentioned about the dialogue to use after I've set the appointment is critical. That is something I had not been doing. And so it's gonna kind of just turn upside down my whole little process of like, "Oh, hey, I'm an hour away. Are you coming?" "Oh, nope." Or, just no show because I've said that at the end. So I'm just gonna pretty much be, "Hey, it's 4 o'clock. I'm showing up at 4 o'clock," because they didn't call me to cancel or change.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm going. The other, I feel like I have a great game plan from what you laid out in terms of stopping people from canceling, in terms of gosh, setting same day like you said, and then using this dialogue and using a pre-qualification script should help me cut down on that as I go into 2022. But one of the challenges that I feel like I have, even though I took this month off to prepare for the listing presentation, it's that when I show up, even though I know the script, I know other than like skills conversations, I guess I don't really know what to do or how to be when I'm at the presentation. Like, what am I bringing? Am I touring the house first? So I think all of that kind of crumbles and the lack of confidence shows when I'm actually at the appointment.
Hmm. Okay. So when you say you don't know what to bring, so if you're on a FISBO appointment, I'm sure you've downloaded the, if you want to bring a visual, you have the visual presentation to remind you of the main points. Yes? And
Yes.
you have that on an iPad or a computer or PowerPoint. I don't know what you're doing. So and that's not required. Okay. I never used that when I was listing homes. I created that for you guys, clients, so that you could have a guide. Because I know the physical presentation, there's a lot of information and it could be a little daunting. So at least in the beginning, you'll remember the main points and you'll stay on track, even though you know very well that I have to put that presentation in a certain order, but the sellers don't always stay in the order that we want to present. They're like, oh, they asked something here. So, and that's what eventually mastering and owning the scripts will do. So on a physical presentation, you would have that. On other presentations, Brittany, the most important thing you bring to this appointment is you. It's you. It's who you're being. It's because you realize it doesn't matter what you show them. You could, and I know agents. I remember when I was selling real estate, and I'm sure it's still the same. We have clients that say that they go on appointments and they see other agents' packages there and like huge folders with a bunch of stuff. I remember some appointments that I went on after I took the list. I didn't bring anything with me. I had a CMA and a business card. My first year I was working for Century 21 and I didn't know what I was doing. And they gave me a listing presentation, which was a bunch of stuff about the company and da. I stopped using that like very shortly after I got a license, because it's like the seller doesn't care. You know how I think. What's in it for them? So I'm not gonna bore them with all this they're looking at me like, what do I care? How is all this going to help me sell my house quickly and for the most money possible with the least amount of hassle? That's all they care about. So sitting there for, an hour, which I used to do, or two, showing them a bunch of stuff they don't care about, and then leaving them all this stuff, they're like just going in the garbage, like as soon as I'm on the door. So I don't think it's necessary. I was going to say, I remember a couple of listings I took where they had a few packages from other agents that had been there, and the sellers, I commented, oh, okay, yeah, you said you have some packages there from other agents. I said, yeah. Well, if you want, you could take them. Like, I actually remember them giving me some of,
wow,
in there, and I took that home and I'm looking at, I'm thinking, oh my God, no wonder these days, like, I don't care what it is. The seller doesn't care. You walk into an appointment and they're sizing you up. They're looking at you. How do you act? What is your body language of confidence? How do you speak? How do you make them feel? Do you make them feel confident that you're knowledgeable, professional, that you're an aggressive agent, that you have an aggressive marketing plan, and you can sell this home quickly for the most money possible? That's all they care about. And they're going to get that from how you show up to this appointment. It doesn't matter what you give them. You could give them the most beautiful, expensive, elaborate package on the planet, and you show up and you're weak. you're not going to take that listing. And you could show
Okay.
up with nothing and be this agent that I just described, and that listing is yours.
Wow. Okay. So my takeaway is that it's not so much about preparing the CMA.
Well, the CMA,
It's really
hold on, the CMA is really important. I
oh,
talked about that, right?
okay.
The CMA, yes. That I used to bring the CMA and my business card.
Okay.
The CMA is yes, you have to have a CMA, obviously, because you're going to talk about the price, and um, you need to be very, very careful when you select the comparables for your CMA because they need to make sense. So that is an important piece. What I'm talking about is other like marketing stuff and other, stuff that I don't know, stuff that other agents take or use that sellers don't care about. Okay.
Okay.
So what did you take away? Go on.
Well, my takeaway is that it's a skill and confidence gets you the listing presentation, not how good your marketing materials are.
Mhm.
That is skill and confidence.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Yep. You got it, girl. I know
All
you got
right.
you got a role play group in the Sales X platform. You guys role play listing presentations and you give feedback to each other. Well, now
Right.
yeah, there's how many lessons on the Sales X platform on listing presentations on all. I guess I've never said it exact because I never say something exactly the same way twice, probably. Maybe you didn't hear it said exactly like this, but it's there. I've talked about
Okay.
this. Yeah. And I feel also that agents wanting to bring stuff to show the seller, it's like a crutch. You know
Mm,
what I mean? Like, like I'm not so confident in what I'm doing. So if I show them this, forget showing them anything. It's you. It's who you're being and how you show up and everything else I talked about.
okay.
Brittany, let's leave it here for now. I really appreciate it. You had great questions, girl. And I trust that what we talked about is going to help you for sure. And then everybody watching too. So thank
All
you.
right. Thank you.
Soon.
Bye.